Summary witness Joseph Cercillo testifies against Diddy. And this is part 2 of his full testimony, and he is talking about some crazy exhibits like Diddy being in freak-off tapes and more, so let's get into it. The first exhibit that the government shows and then asks about is a flight, and Agent Joseph Cercillo responds saying it was to and from Las Vegas to Van Nuys. Paul Arthur was on this flight. And what are these messages? Puff, Christina Korm, and someone named Anika. And then they listened to 5 different audio messages from Diddy, but this is unheard to the public. The government then asked, were there explicit videos shown in this chart? And what did they show? Yes, explicit videos. Is there one woman in them? Jane. Also, I recognize Cabral and Sean Combs. Any other men? Yes. Let's play some of the videos with the attorney screens off. This is where they start playing the freak-off videos with Diddy in them, but they're unable to be seen by the press or the public. And the government asks, does this next exhibit also have an explicit video? Yes, and then they play it. They go to another exhibit and say, who are these names? Jane, Jonathan Perez at the Trump International Hotel. What is the address listed? 1 Central Park West, Manhattan. What is the room number? 0508. The government then asked, whose name is on the American Express bill? Sean Combs. And what was the cost for this stay? $2,890. Who paid for Jane's travel? Please turn off the public screen. Bad boy. And who paid for Cabral's travel? Jane. And what is this? A wire from Sean Combs to Jane for $5,000. Does Robin Greenhill write, please send $5K to Jane's true name? Yes. Who's being paid here? Brendan Paul, Cabral Williams, and Jane with an Amex card. By Jessica Ruse, OPCO LLC. Agent, do you recognize this? It has Jane's information on it. We need to keep the public screens off. Please walk us through the columns on this chart. It has information to and from and the content, the source of the information. What's this? Jane to Sean Combs asking, should we have Jess look into flights? Let's look at this exhibit. Is this from Mr. Combs to Jane? Yes. He asked, tell me when you can come. She says, night. Then what? Jane writes, I'm not coming to New York. I feel disrespected. You just want me for a hotel binge. Then she writes, I don't want to be used and locked in a room to fulfill your fantasies. Sean Combs then responds saying, that was podcast talk. Then what? Jane writes, I don't want to feel obligated to perform these nights for you for fear of losing the roof over my head. How did Mr. Combs respond? He wrote, girl, stop, and then he sent some audio messages. What does Jane send to Mr. Combs? A photo, and then Jane asks, I didn't have time to bring heels, if someone can get them. What does Mr. Combs text Jane here? He asks, movie or entertainment tonight? Let me know if hotel is needed. In this exhibit, who are the participants here? Fahim and Brendan Paul. About the after show. Jane is in town. Room at the Trump, man down. What does Fahim text to Jonathan? We're on the way up in the elevator with Jane. What is this? A Trump International Hotel record. What does Frank Rodriguez text to Fahim? Bring the Gucci bag. What does Jane text to Cabral Williams? Would you like to come to New York City? What does Fahim text to Jane? We'll come with the cash. Then Jane to Cabral Williams. Just need your date of birth and your driver's license number. Then Jane sends a message to Cabral. How much time before he says, can come up in a sec? About 10 hours. The government pulls up another exhibit and says, what is this? A text to Brendan Paul about sending out a nurse in a bag. Then what does Brendan Paul text? All the IBs would be the same. In this exhibit, you read Mr. Combs and I'll read Christina Korm. Christina Korm says to Diddy, you can't just leave like that. Lit after partying and not telling anyone. That is when bad happens. You know that. Diddy responds saying, did you get the drip? Christina Korm says, Chelsea will move to the house once Jane leaves. The options were here, the Mandarin, and another. King room for now. Diddy says, I need to get her a suite. Keep her at the Edition. And a lot of people have wondered who Chelsea is, and Chelsea is an ex-girlfriend of Diddy who actually filed a lawsuit months and months ago that was sealed to the public. Her lawsuit's allegations were to a T of Cassie and Jane, and she just recently revealed her name in her lawsuit just a couple weeks ago. Now, what is this exhibit? Financial records. Note. Jane's to Cabral Williams. Sly Diddler. And the government plays a voice message from Diddy to Paul Arthur. Diddy says, hit me up when you're close. What does Jane text to Cabral? So hot, need to see you. What does Jane text? The travel agent finally woke up. You coming? What's this number? Jessica Ruse. And they play another voice message from Diddy to Christina Korm, and he says, hey KK, we need more baby oil. 20 bottles left in this mother effer. Then they play another voice message from Diddy to Jess Ruse, and he says, hey Jess, I need to get him from Atlanta to here. Let me know, hit me up. The government then asks, does Cabral Williams send his date of his birthday, and then Jane sends it to Combs, and then Combs sends it to Ruse? Yes, and then Ruse books it. Then what did Christina Korm text to Mr. Combs? I ordered the fruit plates. I'll have to bring your phone to you. And they play another audio message from Diddy to Christina Korm. Diddy says, I have to run out of town real quick, like a family emergency. You know what I'm saying? And KK replies and says, I suggest you say something came up and not lie about leaving town. I think she'll want to hear from you directly. You should suggest dinner tomorrow. What is this next exhibit? Guido to Sean Combs. They play another voice message from Diddy that says, I need 5 more bottles of each so I don't have to ask nobody, and my Apple TV since I'm staying here. Then he asks for lattes and vegetable soup. And then they play another voice memo from Diddy that says, can security bring me 5,000? And anything else y'all think I might need? And Cialis. I'm gonna keep calling y'all unless you think of everything I'm gonna need. Then what is texted to Fahim? Taking 5,000 to him now. And what does Jessica Ruse text to Sean Combs? Had to change drivers. Then Jane texted to Cabral Williams. What are these next 4 videos? Explicit videos. About 45 minutes later, then JP Morgan to Arthur Fitness for $1,000. What does Jane send to Mr. Combs? I'm heading there. We'll let you know when I'm 5 minutes away. Paul is coming up. The government shows another exhibit and says, walk us through it. This was the London Hotel in LA, room 229, in the name of Chavez, with damage. And they show the next exhibit. This is the check-in record for the London Hotel. Then they play another voice memo of Diddy saying, should I book the room? It's a yes or no answer. Thumbs up or thumbs down. What does Jane respond? I need to shop, to celebrate. Then who texts Jane? Christina Korm, asking for Jane's account information. She says Bank of America and an account number. She writes, want to send one of the guys here to drop everything off? And Combs says, no, I don't want them to know. And they play another audio message from Diddy to Jane that says, I sent you 15, K baby girl. Then what does Combs text to Paul Arthur? You in LA? He says yes. Then I'm gonna hit you later. Then they play another voice message of Diddy saying, you want to meet up at 9:45? Can you get 5K for Fahim? What does Combs text to Jane? Paul's going to meet us at 9:30. Then they play another audio message from Diddy to Frank Rodriguez. Diddy says, Frank, make sure the room is set up right. What does Rodriguez write? Medical grade K and MDMA. And what does Jane text to Cabral? To call Rodriguez. What does Rodriguez text to Mr. Combs? A photo and a message saying this is all they got left of the blues. I'll read James and you read Mr. Combs. Jane says, it's been 3 years of me having to F strangers. I can't be in another hotel room performing for days. Diddy responds saying, let me make love to you. Jane says, spend the day with Gina. I'm not trying to F strangers. You want to have me suck some D so you can jet off with Gina. Diddy responds, are you gonna let me in our house? And he says it 5 times. Jane says, I just put my child to bed. Who texted Mr. Combs the next day? Gina. Then what does Combs text to Jane? He texts, I'm hot as F, with numerous C's. And who is Mr. Combs texting with? A man named Rico Love. What does Jane text Mr. Combs? Baby, I'm here. What does Mr. Combs text to Rico? El Hermage, let me know when you're there. Then they play another voice message by Diddy saying, yo, what's the name and the room number? What does Mr. Combs text to Rico? Room is Paul. I'll read Jane, you read Mr. Combs in these exhibits. Jane says, make sure not to make me feel high and dry. Put something in my account. Diddy responds saying, hey, how are you? Was that 3 days later? Yes, and then a record of $3,000 from JP Morgan. Who texts Jonathan Perez? Christina Korm. She says, heads up, P. Diddy's going to the guest house. In this exhibit, what do they say the flight is about? Her being jealous and yelling at him. What is this? Jane and Anton. On June 20th, who does Jane call? James Douglas, aka Anton. What was sent to Fahim? The banking coordinator will pick up the cash. $5,000 for you, $15,000 for Diddy. In this exhibit, what injuries are on Jane? Diddy's team yells objection and the judge sustained it. Was this video found on Jane's iCloud? Yes. No further questions. And now this summary witness will be cross-examined by Diddy's team after the lunch break, but y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.